So we've just had receipt then of an inspector's report specifically on the fire service. What has that report shown?
The report has shown that our self-awareness was right. So the service was aware of the challenges within what we anticipated would be in the report, and we'd already started to make changes to improve the service along with the HMI report. Now the report reflects back to spring last year. So from there, we've worked with the Inspectorate through an improvement plan to start delivering those changes. The most significant changes, of course, being the risk and resource model that we delivered in September last year. I think there's two important points we need to recognise. One is the impact that this and the emotive language that the HMI use as inadequate has on our staff, because all of our staff work incredibly hard. They deliver everything they can for the communities, and particularly when we reflect on our on-call firefighters who work in the remote rural locations, they're giving everything they can to the service and to the public, and I thank them wholeheartedly for that. The second aspect of this would be the members of the public opening the papers or looking at a tweet this morning and seeing that report. Now, from an assurance perspective, I can tell them that the service has made improvements already. The risk and resource model and the consultation the Commissioner conducted is evidence of that, and we're ready now making plans and implementing those changes. The service, of course, will always respond to any member of the public with the right resources in the fastest possible time that we can get to those incidents.
So that kind of makes it sound like you're blaming the frontline officers, where some of the criticism was around resources and sort of staff management. So,
okay.
You know, I appreciate there's good and bad bits to that report, and I wanted to talk about both.
Yeah.
But the sort of key bits, when they use the word inadequate, that's a cue to do something different, isn't it, I suppose, from
yes.
perspective?
Was just any question? No, that wasn't blaming any of our internal resources or our staff. They all work incredibly hard, and this isn't a reflection on them. What it is a reflection on is the systems and processes that the service has that needed to improve and modernise. And that's what we've done, and we're already headway into doing. There's been significant progress within there. We're working with our suppliers of those systems to improve them, but as ever, these things take time. And the HMI have agreed, and we've agreed on the scale and pace of change that the service will deliver, and of course they'll continue to inspect. But this is no reflection on our staff, and particularly not on our middle managers.
And is it right you have early sight of this report before the public?
So we get a hot debrief after the report, which gives us some headline figures as to where they believe that they are going to focus upon. And then we get an embargoed 48-hour report, which we receive this time, of course, then before it goes into the public domain.
So not significantly ahead of everyone else?
No, not significantly ahead, no.
So as far as the Police, Fire and Crime Commissioner's office is concerned, you know, part of your role is to, you know, I think it's an overused term, isn't it? Bring people to account.
Yeah.
What does this report mean to you? I know you had a significant portion of work underway anyway, didn't
yes,
you? You know,
we did,
that you sort of said is, you know, that's covered some of the aspects of it.
Sure.
So I think when I came into role, it was very obvious that there were issues with North Yorkshire Fire and Rescue Service. There were, which the HMI report just echoed as well. So it's nothing that we didn't know already. And I think it's important to understand about. It was in spring 22, the report. So we're a whole year sort of later now, aren't we? And to recognise all the great work. And so there's been a clear delivery strategy being put in place very quickly to address the concerns. There has been a whole piece of work around the risk and resource modelling, and also identifying where our community risk is too, to inform that piece of, you know, the RRM work. We've got a new senior leadership team in now, which is absolutely fantastic. And together, my office and myself, working closely with my fire colleagues, we've already been able to deliver significant progress on that transformation piece.
Could you give some examples of, you know, what was a problem, if you like, highlighted on the report and what's happened?
Sure. One of the key contexts of this is that when the HMI do an inspection, they will only take evidence from documents which are already in and agreed within service. So where the HMI are finding fault with the service relates to the 2016 Community Safety Plan.
Is that like procedural documents?
So this is the service's legal document. It's effectively the business plan for the organisation for 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
Now our policy, that community safety plan for the service hadn't been refreshed at that point. We were aware of it. We'd done a risk assessment and impact assessment to make sure we could extend it. Now we already had the community risk profile, and which of course informed the risk and resource model, how we are going to resource to risk in our communities. The Commissioner was ready to go to consultation, but the HMI could not take those documents into account because it hadn't been consulted upon. So I'm confident now, had that have been the case, it would have been a different report from the response elements, and so we've already made enormous progress in those areas.
And am I right in thinking, on the report, they kindly make it red, don't they, where they want journalists to read?
Of course.
And there was two. I think that's a fair answer on the resources and the work that was underway already.
Okay.
And then the other area was talking about was the people side of the organisation. What was the concerns raised there, and does the new risk and resource model kind of counter the problems that were highlighted then?
Okay. The HMI use indicators of culture, so they use welfare, they use access to grievances and discipline, and also promotion process within there, with health and safety. Now, we've made significant improvements on those, and that's where I talk around a system and a process. So we needed to improve those. Through Enable, we've made great strides into improving the welfare provision for our firefighters. Our absence management processes needed to improve, and they are doing. And the way that we support our colleagues in meetings, in communication, needed to improve. And since being appointed in July last year, that's the significant progress that we're making for. I make no bones that there is always more we can do, and we will do, but all of our staff are assured that they have a voice in this organisation, and we will always listen.
When you mentioned there, did you use the term Enable? Is that a system that you use? Or?
So Enable is the collaboration between police and fire for our support staff. And Enable are our support colleagues, which effectively enable the front line. They deal with everything for us from a support services perspective, and they've made improvements for us and helped modernise the service in a significant number of areas. And that's now where we're focusing and hoping to push forward on supporting colleagues further.
So, just sort of looking forward then, how we as a police, fire and crime commissioner, of course, know that that report has been fully tackled? Do you put further metrics on the force, or do you just work with the HMIC report?
Well, I do both actually. So my office and myself work really closely with the force to make sure that we see their transformation plan and that we actually can see the evidence that they're taking this forward. So we're very much part of their meetings going forward, and I have regular conversations with the chief. So we work really closely together. HMI will come back in at the end of January, so we welcome that. Absolutely. To see the progress that we have made already. I and my office are also deepening our scrutiny to support our FRS colleagues and our office to make sure that we do have that assurance going forward. And
like myself, if I've got an ongoing interest in it, is your kind of, is it monthly scrutiny?
That's right,
meetings?
Yes.
Is that the forum to to hear a report back on progress and other aspects?
So monthly I do my public accountability meetings, which are live streamed on YouTube and also uploaded onto my website. I do one for police and one for fire, and we will be holding a special one next Thursday, the 26th. Which will be totally about this report and being able to showcase what we're doing about it, what the fire service is doing about it, and the delivery plans.
Excellent. Thank you very much for the time.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
So